Welcome back, everyone. Now that we have seen methods that return values, now that we have seen value methods, the time has come to look into Boolean methods, also known as methods that return true or false values, which we can also call flag methods. If you remember from our previous classes, we looked at flag variables. We said that in Java, also in any other language, in any other programming language, developers use flags to verify, to hold certain values and to verify against those values. Well, since our methods can return values as well, we can have flag methods too. So let's actually go to our eclipses. Let's create a new class under our section 3_4. We're gonna call it flag methods demo. Now, you might think that, okay, let's first declare our main method, right? You might say that since I have this kind of a flag, since I can have this kind of a flag method, flag variable, right? Let's say int num1 is equal to 5, right? But this flag is positive flag is going to be true if number 1 is more than 5, right? Number 1 is more than 0. So this is my flag variable. If I have this and if I can create it, why do I need a flag method? Simple answer is this flag variable here is going to check for the value of num1 only once before this flag is declared. If down the road in the program my num1 is assigned to -5 or -3, when I print out my is positive, I'm not going to get false because this is positive variable here sees only this value of num1, which is positive. So right now it is true, and it is going to remain true. For me to change it, so let's first demonstrate that. Okay, you see, it remains true. For me to update its value every time, I need to have this code. This one was error. Every time I need to have this conditional check follow my variable reassignment. So if I run this code now, and let me close the statement. If I run this code now, is positive is going to be correctly false because -3 is not positive. However, if I have this declared only once up here and have this check for the condition before the reassignment, my is positive is not going to be returning holding a true value. So this is the limitation of flag variables. Flag variables are only local. For example, I cannot call is positive from another method, and they only see the conditions that have been assigned to them once. If conditions change afterwards, then they will not see whatever is happening afterwards. On the other hand, we can create public static Boolean is positive method, and we can have it accept in num1. And this method is going to return num1 greater than 0. Answer to this question, is num1 greater than 0? And in this case, if I come here, instead of having this defective is positive, if I call not the is positive variable flag, but is positive method, is positive flag method, and pass in num1, this will automatically check for the latest value of num1, which is -3, and this will automatically return false, whereas this method is going to return true when we run this code. So this is a demonstration of why we need Boolean methods, why we need flag methods, and how they are advantages over flag variables, especially when the variable values can be reassigned. Now, What are the best uses besides inside our besides checking for certain cases? Let's actually demonstrate one best use is within conditional statements. If is positive number 1, so if number 1 is positive, print out not the Boolean value but the string literal or a message saying that let's add here num1, the value of num1, concatenate it with the message is a positive number. Otherwise, else, let's copy this, else is a negative number. So what happened here is, instead of every single time checking for this condition here, instead of every single time writing this condition, I'm just going to make a simple call to the isPositive method. I'm just going to drop in, I'm just going to pass in my variable here, and that's it. So this is easier to remember to do than this, or every single time. Okay, now when I run this, it will return true, false, and in this case it will return this is a negative number. If you want to see the full console printout, so true is coming from defective isPositive variable, false is coming from a working isPositive method, and this print out -3 is a negative number is coming from this if-else branch here. Because what happened is this isPositive method returned false because -3 is not positive, so it returned false. Since my if statement is false, if condition is false, I'm going to run my else condition and I'm going to print out this is negative message. Now, this was a very simple demonstration of Boolean methods. Boolean methods can be really complicated, solving for multiple conditional checks inside a single method. For example, let's look into is single digit. This will take num1, and in this case, we will. So first of all, to stop complaining, to stop IDE from complaining, just return false. Now we have a safe ground to work, to operate, and now let's start coding for this condition. Okay, actually, instead of returning false, usually my style of coding is I create a return ret Boolean. I create a variable local flag like this and assign false to it, right? And I return ret Boolean. Actually, if I not assign false to it, it will complain that you have not instantiated it. So let's add false to it. So my flag is going to be false. Then I'm going to return it. Now I'm going to change the value of my flag here only. So let's say we have a condition where I'm going to check if a number is a single digit. Single digits are the numbers that are between -10 and 10. So if num1 is greater than -10 and num1 is less than 10, which means my value is supposed to be between one of the -9, -8, 7, etc., etc., then 7, 8, 9, then it's a single digit. It has only one digit to it. Then return Boolean is equal to true. I'm not even gonna say else here because there is only one case where return Boolean is going to be true, and this if this if statement runs and it returns true under this condition, then my return Boolean is going to become true. Otherwise, it is false anyways. So by creating a local flag inside my flag method, I actually shortened my coding. I did not have to write an else. Okay. If you want to go shorter, you can actually comment this out. Instead of having return Boolean here, I'm just going to comment this out as well. I'm just going to say return true. So the moment you touch this condition, and if this condition is true, then you're going to come here and return true. I don't even have to declare it because true is a Boolean value. Otherwise, instead of saying my return Boolean value, return false. In all the other conditions, return false. So this is a more complex condition to write every single time compared to this, right? So instead of writing this every single time, you can just create a is single digit flag method and then check for this value. Usually, one thing to remember is when you are creating your flag methods, they are supposed to have them follow the same naming convention as with flag variables. Your names of these methods should answer the questions. The answer to these methods names should be either yes or no. Is it a single digit? Yes or no. Has a single digit? Yes or no. Remember our scanner methods. Has next double? Yes or no. So these methods will answer, the names of these methods are questions that have only one of the two answers, yes or no. Keep that in mind. Check for your after you develop a method, always test for values, create your test values, create your documentation, and after that, after you have uh, thoroughly tested your method, you can from now on look into the documentation only and take a leap of faith when it comes to your method implementations. Okay, so I thank you for your time, and I will see you in our next section.